In 509 BCE, Rome witnessed an extraordinary transformation, the birth of the Roman Republic. What began as a revolt against a tyrant would evolve into a system of governance that laid the foundation for modern representative governments across the world. Today we'll explore how the Romans broke free from monarchy, the structures they created in its place, and the long-lasting impact of this monumental event. The story of the Roman Republic is one of resilience, innovation, and calculated power building. It wasn't just the fall of a king, it was the rise of a new way of governing, a system designed to give power to the people, prevent tyranny, and ensure that Rome would rise to become a dominant force in the ancient world. Rome wasn't always a republic. For centuries before 509 BCE, Rome was a monarchy, ruled by a series of kings, some of them from the neighbouring Etruscan civilization. The last of these kings was Tarquinius Superbus, known to history as Tarquin the Proud. Tarquin's rule became infamous for his cruelty and oppression. He consolidated power in his hands, sidelining the Senate, and his tyranny culminated in an event that shook Rome to its core. When his son assaulted a noblewoman, Lucretia, the resulting outrage led to a revolutionary uprising. The Roman people, led by figures like Lucius Junius Brutus, expelled Tarquin and vowed never to have a king again. Thus the Roman Republic was born. The establishment of the Republic wasn't just about getting rid of a bad king. It was about building something entirely new. At its heart, the Roman Republic was a mix of different governing principles, part monarchy, part aristocracy, and part democracy. This unique blend is what made it so enduring. Rome's new government was carefully structured to prevent any one person from gaining too much power. Instead of one single ruler, 2 consuls were elected each year to share the executive power. This system was designed with checks and balances. If one consul overstepped, the other could veto their actions. The Senate, composed of Rome's elite patricians, acted as an advisory board, shaping policy and managing foreign relations. Meanwhile, the assemblies, groups of ordinary citizens, had their say in elections and legislation, though as you might expect, the wealthiest citizens had the most influence. The system wasn't perfect, but it was groundbreaking for its time. It laid the groundwork for ideas about representative government that still resonate today. While Rome's political transformation was unfolding, the Republic began expanding its influence. In the early years, Rome was just one city-state among many in central Italy, surrounded by powerful neighbours like the Etruscans, Samnites, and the Greek colonies in the south. Rome's strategy was careful and methodical. They didn't set out to conquer the world overnight. Instead, they practiced what historians call defensive imperialism. Rome was always claimed to be fighting in self-defense, only attacking when they perceived a threat to their city or allies. But each victory brought new territory under Roman control, and by the 4th century BCE, Rome had unified much of Italy under its banner. Rome's expansion wasn't just about military might, it was also about assimilation. Unlike many conquerors, the Romans were often generous to those they defeated, granting them partial citizenship and the chance to integrate into Roman society. This helped maintain stability and loyalty across their growing territories. Back in Rome, not everyone was benefiting equally from the Republic's success. The divide between the aristocratic patricians and the common plebeians was stark. Plebeians, who made up the majority of the population, had little say in the government, and over time this inequality led to the conflict of the orders. The plebeians didn't take this sitting down. They organised the strikes known as the secession of the plebs, effectively halting Rome's military and economic activities until their demands were heard. Over the next 2 centuries, plebeians gradually won political rights, including the ability to elect their own officials, the tribune of the plebs, and eventually even hold the highest offices in Rome. By 287 BCE, plebeians had achieved near equality with the patricians, at least in theory. This struggle shaped the Republic, ensuring that it wasn't just a government for the elite, but for all Roman citizens, laying the groundwork for a more inclusive political system. Meanwhile, Rome's military prowess was growing. The Republic had developed a highly disciplined and flexible army, learning from their enemies and adapting to new tactics. One of the most famous examples of this adaptability came during the Punic Wars, where Rome went head-to-head with the most powerful Carthaginian empire. At the start of these wars, Rome didn't even have a navy, yet within a few short years they built one from scratch and learned to dominate the seas. This ability and determination would serve them well as they expanded their reach across the Mediterranean. Rome's unique system of government, the mixed constitution, was one of its greatest strengths. As the historian Polybius observed, Rome's blends of monarchy through the consuls, aristocracy through the Senate, and democracy through the assemblies allowed it to adapt to challenges both internally and externally. This balance gave the Republic flexibility, stability, and longevity, lasting nearly 500 years. But as we'll see in future episodes, this very success would lead to new challenges. The Republic's expansion brought wealth, but also inequality, and soon Rome would face internal strife that would shake its foundations. The Roman Republic's legacy is profound. It wasn't just a foothold in history, it was a blueprint for governance that has influenced countless societies, including our own. Concepts like the Senate, representative government, checks and balances, and the rule of law can all trace their roots back to this ancient system. But the Republic would not last forever. Over time, the very mechanisms that made it successful also sowed the seeds of its downfall. Ambitious generals, social unrest, and political corruption would lead to its eventual collapse, giving rise to the Roman Empire.